This is a Southgate production.
What's up? Welcome to UFC Shit. We're here to talk about UFC 214. We're going to go ahead and talk about the main card. First fight we're going to talk about is Jimmy Manuwa and versus Volkan Ozdemir. Ozdemir is trying to make a name for himself, coming in strong. He wants all the top guys he can get. But Jimmy Manuwa, he's got those fists of fury. He's not going to go out without a fight. You get near those fists, you're going to go out. The last 10 fights he's gotten every knockout except for the two losses he's had against Anthony Johnson and Alex Gustafsson, and I mean those guys are top dogs anyway, so you can't knock him for that. Rumor has it Manuwa wins this with impressive fashion. He should be able to get a next title shot against DC and John Jones. Not really sure if he's ready for that yet, but he's definitely making a name for himself. Next fight on the card is going to be Robbie Lawler versus Donald Cerrone. Man, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. Donald Cerrone is, I mean, everyone knows he wants to fight no matter what. Robbie Lawler, he doesn't back down. Striking-wise, I think Cerrone has better striking. But Robbie Lawler is down to throw down no matter what, and he's not going to get knocked out just like that. Tyler Woodley, he's a different beast. His fists are made of stone. I think that was just a one-time situation. Cerrone definitely doesn't have the same kind of power that Woodley has, so I don't think a knockout's going to happen in this fight. I think the fight will be determined whether or not Cerrone can get it to the ground, where he actually is very underrated. He actually has very good jiu-jitsu. I believe if he gets to the ground, he'll dominate Robbie Lawler. If they keep it standing up, it's basically going to be who's the least bloodiest at the end of the fight. Next fight on the card will be Cyborg versus Tanya Evinger. I mean, and Invicta Tanya Evinger is a beast, no doubt. I think she's at 11 straight right now, but Cyborg, really? Cyborg. It's not going to happen. Cyborg's gonna retain, or going to get the 145 belt like she was supposed to originally. Geronime, who rather give up the belt than fight Cyborg. Just gave it up. Said she wants to fight 135. I mean, the only chance Tanya has is if Cyborg, doesn't show. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, Cyborg, man, what can I say? Then our co-main event will be Tyron Woodley versus Damon Maia for the 170 light heavyweight belt. Man, what can I say? It's Woodley. He's a beast. He's strong. He's obviously got definite one-punch knockout, and he's probably the quickest 170 in the UFC right now. He says he's a brown belt, but compared to Damon Maia, he's a white belt still. Damon Maia's got just legendary jiu-jitsu, and not just legendary jiu-jitsu, legendary MMA jiu-jitsu, which is a complete different thing. He's figured out how to combine the two and make it one of his own. His striking has definitely improved over the years. I still don't think he's got the same striking abilities as Woodley, but I don't think he's going to try. I think he's just going to spend spend 5 rounds trying to get on his back and choke him out. Woodley stated he's been training for that exact situation, but Damon Maya gets in the position. He wants your back. He's going to take your back and choke you out. I don't think Woodley's giving him enough respect. There's definitely no trash talk between the two, but when it comes to winning, I think Woodley feels he's pretty much got it in the bag. But I don't think he's ever faced anybody like Damon Maya. I think he's trained. I think Woodley's trained to protect his back, protect his neck, but I think it's one of those things. Once you're not gonna be able to handle it until you actually get into it. But I guess we'll see. Oh, after I discuss these fights, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll be making my picks. I'm gonna make two different picks. I'm gonna make who I believe will win, and stat wise who should win. We'll go from there. Our last fight, our main event, which we're all still hoping Jones makes it to, will be John Jones and DC, our champion, for the light heavyweight championship. What can I say about this one? This is probably the biggest rivalry in the UFC. They just hate each other. Jones 22-1. Let's keep it real. He's 23-0. He hasn't lost. DC 19-1. Jones being his only loss in his career. I really believe DC really takes that to heart. I think he really wants that loss back. Ability wise, I actually do believe he's got it. His wrestling regardless is superb. The last fight they had, DC was very clear in admitting the fact that he underestimated John Jones. He took too many rests when he wasn't supposed to. When Jones got him up against the cage, he decided to take a lot more rests, not be so much aware of what he was doing at the time. Jones just thinks he's the best, and regardless of his 2-year hiatus, he's gonna just mop DC up. But let's remember, the last fight they had, he didn't dominate DC like he dominated a lot of other guys. It was a 5-round decision. It wasn't a clear-cut win like that. It was definitely more clear than the Alex fight, but Jones's talk about the fight is definitely different compared to what the fight was. DC proved he can hang with Jones, and in the spots that he lost and he got taken down, it was those times where he just played lazy. I don't think he's going to do it this fight. I think he's gonna not take everything so much to the heart. I think he's playing John Jones's game with the shit talking, but I don't think it's gonna affect him like it did last time. I think last time it was, I think he brought that in all the way to the 5th round when he needs to leave it at the cage. John Jones, the last, he had a year off at one point, came back, fought OSP, and he looked like he couldn't beat it. He looked like he was at best ranked 10 with the way he fought. That fight really put a question mark on this fight. He's admitted ring rust was a problem for him, but he's going against someone far better than OSP. OSP at the time, I think it was ranked 8 at the time, I believe, and he had no business in there with John Jones. Excuse me. I think this fight, if DC can take the fight to Jones rather than waiting for Jones, he has a really good chance of impressing a lot of people. And with that, alright, it's time to make my picks. And I'm going to go ahead and start from the Manawa. Manawa versus Osamar. I believe that Manawa is going to take this. I definitely don't think he's ready for either Jones or DC. I think he's probably got another few fights before he's ready for that test. Um, I mean, both picks. I'm gonna pick Manuel. I think Ozdemir. He's got tricky hands. He's come up really fast out of nowhere, but I just don't think he's ready for the top dog standings in the UFC yet. Donald Cerrone and Robbie Lawler. Well, with the way things have been going, Robbie Lawler should win the fight. Like I said, I think the Woodley fight was not, it wasn't a fluke, but Lawler doesn't just go down like that. He's able to take a punch, many punches. Let's just say that. Who knows? Maybe the knockout kind of took those screws out of him. I mean, we've seen that a lot of times where legendary guys with chins get knocked out once and then it's just not the same anymore. But at the same time, Cerrone's not really a knockout type fighter. He wants to brawl with you. He kick you in the head maybe to knock you out, but I don't think Lawler's gonna go out like that. My pick is gonna be Cerrone. I believe he has more tools. I think worst case scenario, he can get it to the ground and dominate Lawler there. But like I said, I think Lawler, stat-wise, he probably should be able to squeeze it out to 5 rounds, or I'm sorry, to all three rounds, and at least give it a good fight decision. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out in this fight, though. We're gonna go to Cyborg and Cyborg and Tanya Evans. Cyborg, right? I mean, I don't even need to give you guys reasons, right? She's an animal. Best woman fighter ever. There's not gonna change it. I honestly don't believe there'll be anybody as good as her. Then we can go to Woodley and Damon Maya. Now Woodley has figured out how to do everything it needs to do to get that belt, and I say that in a good way. He's a good champ. He's an excellent champ. Damon Maya, he's been wanting that belt forever, a long time, and it's every time he gets that close, it's just right there. He's on I believe a 7 fight win streak, and just he looks like a rejuvenated fighter. He's striking a lot better. He's making better decisions when it comes down to striking first takedown. Who should win this fight? Woodley. Definitely Woodley. He's definitely got the power. He's definitely got the belief in himself, and I think he's got the speed maybe to keep from getting taken down at will, unless he makes a mistake. I don't think Damon Maya should be able to get to his back, but my pick is going to be Damon Maya. Not gonna lie, I'm a little biased from the jiu-jitsu side, but I mean, he's made it clear that he's the elite of the elite when it comes to getting on the mat, making for his ground war, and he's proven that his striking is within the top notch of the UFC now. So he's definitely got a chance. Definitely have a chance. So I'm gonna make Damon Maya my personal pick, with Woodley stat-wise winning. And then we come down to John Jones and DC. Like I said earlier, John Jones coming off a long no fight. The last time we saw him, his jitters were bad. He had bad ring rust, and if he fights like he fought OSP, he has no chance against DC. If he fights like he did OSP, I believe DC will dominate him. With that said, I don't believe Jones would allow that to happen. I think Jones overlooked OSP a lot more than ring rust. On top of ring rust, I think with the rivalry they have, I don't think John Jones will go out without the biggest fight of his life. He's very inventive with his striking, and he's he's very well able to adapt to his situations, which makes John Jones so damn dominating in there. On the other hand, DC has this fight till the end type attitude. When he was in Strikeforce, no one thought he was ever going to be a champion, and he just ran through guys. If you've watched his UFC fights, he does things to guys that you couldn't imagine him doing. His takedowns are legendary. I believe behind Yoel Romero, he's probably the next best wrestler in the UFC, and whether anybody likes to admit it or not, he's a damn good fighter. I believe, besides for John Jones, is the greatest light heavyweight fighter there in the UFC, period. With the ability to beat anybody, even Jones. So go ahead and stat wise, I believe because of the last fight and John Jones's legendary career, stat wise, Jones is definitely going to win. Now here's my personal pick. I believe DC, the reason DC is our champ, the reason DC has had such a wonderful career at 19-1 is because he's an absolute exceptional fighter. He's able to do more than he looks like he's able to. I mean, 19-1 with the people he's fought. I don't think I've ever seen him fight a slouch. So he's definitely got 19 big wins, and personally I believe DC is going to figure it out and take John Jones out, which will just be just the biggest thing in the UFC ever to happen. I think it will be bigger than Rousey losing her belt and those 2 losses that she had. Prediction wise, I believe DC's gonna retire if he beats Jones. I think that would be the nail in the coffin. On the other hand, I think if Jones wins, I believe he may do one more fight, but I know for a fact he's definitely been interested in going up to heavyweight. I don't think the weight cut is so much of an issue of why. I just really think he really wants to solidify himself as the best there is in the UFC, period. And since his time is gone, McGregor's been kind of taking that spot. So I think if he wins this one and then moves up to heavyweight and challenges Stipe, wow. And everyone's been talking about if Jones goes to heavyweight, how small he's going to be. What people aren't really realizing, all our heavyweight champs are in that 230, 245 range, which Jones walks around at 240. So he's the size for what we assume our belt holder is going to be, because the big guys really don't last compared to the cardio that everyone else has. So I mean, it's all going to be a big toss-up. Either way, whoever wins, their next step is going to be big, and it's going to jumpstart the UFC for big things. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to come out with a lot more videos. They're going to be a lot better. First one, kind of figuring out how I'm going to have everything set up. But please subscribe, like, tell your friends. They're going to get a lot better. I'm going to do some Google Hangout chats before events, so I can get other people on here and give their opinions and hear what the fans have to say about the UFC and the matches that are coming up and who their favorite fighters are. Maybe I'll just jump on sometime and just to hear what's going on with the UFC and how you feel about it. Big ones coming up, is Manu Nunes and Valentina